months had passed by, with Soraya, Tahir, and Yasica having trained their abilities to the fullest during their time in the Frumi Tribe camp. It was basically rinse and repeat for them when it came to the routines and schedules the tribe members had. Of course, the trio didn't mind, as they had their own rules to play, which they adjusted to quite nicely for the rebellion. Tahir would help out with hunting more food, while also protecting the Frumi tribe members from any hostile wildlife, or even thieves, with the latter being more rare if anything else. Though Tahir still wanted to maintain his semblance of humanity as much as he could, he would later admit that hunting with the others made him feel nostalgic and allowed him to vent some much-needed stress, if not anger, over the injustices Dahak had caused for everyone. Yasica would find herself growing stronger when it came to her abilities, especially after her arm finally healed. She would hone her healing abilities for the warriors who were injured during scouting missions or even hunting and sparring. Soraya continued to be mentored by Gryphon, as Gazdaham had promised, and like the chief warned, her training was not easy. Though Gryphon was understanding and encouraging, she could also be very serious, if not strict, as shown by how she did not hold back on her initial sparring sessions, while also subjecting Soraya to harsh training. Fortunately, Soraya was willing to undergo it if it meant getting stronger and not being a burden to the others when a battle would be on the horizon. Plus, she still wished to avenge her parents despite how disillusioned she was with them at the moment, and brother, along with the rest of her people who were turned to statues by Dahak. "Come on, princess," Gryphon commanded as she clashed her sword against Soraya's. They were currently using wooden swords for sparring practice, as usual, with Soraya struggling to hold her ground. "You can do better than that." "I'm trying!" Soraya gritted as she tried pushing back against Gryphon, only to feel her legs being kicked by something and cause her to fall to the ground. "Ah! You forgot one of the most important rules in combat," Gryphon said in a stern tone as she helped the princess up. "Always be aware of your surroundings. You may never know when the enemy will pull a dirty trick on you like that the moment your guard is down or your left is distracted." "Thanks for the reminder," Soraya thanked in a semi-sarcastic tone before getting back on her feet. "Okay, let's try this again. I have an idea," Gryphon suggested. "Why not have Nasir take my place and spar you next? While I may be training you, I feel like it would be easier if you had someone who was around the same height as you are and around the same strength to help you hone your abilities." "Sure, if that's okay with you," Nasir chimed in as he sat on the sidelines watching the two ladies spar. Soraya shrugged as she got ready to spar him. "Okay," Soraya agreed as Nasir faced her with his own sword. "Let's go, and don't hold back either." "Are you sure?" Nasir asked with worry. "I don't want to accidentally hurt you while I'm at it." "Hey, just because I'm a girl doesn't mean you have to worry about me going down so easily," Soraya retorted with a frown. "Hey, I wasn't trying to imply anything," Nasir snarked before preparing to fight with his sword. "Just don't get cocky. Ready? And go!" Gryphon shouted as she watched the two teens spar each other. She noted how they were both determined, swift on their feet, and good at keeping their balance. The sounds of the wooden swords smacking against one another was heard by not just Gryphon, but even the other Frumi Tribe members, with Yasica, who was helping with cleaning up and cooking, also witnessing it. "What's wrong? Is the princess going soft on me now?" Nasir taunted playfully. "Don't go easy on me now." "Oh yeah? We'll see about that," Soraya retorted, as she continued to spar with him, dodging his attacks, and using her speed to try and get the drop on him. She tried to think of a plan on how to beat him. "Gryphon did say that I should use my speed, since my upper body is a bit weaker compared to the other warriors," Soraya commented internally. "Guess I'll be using that to win this match if I can." "Wow, Soraya has become quite adept at sword fighting," Yasica commented in amazement. "I don't think I'd be able to wield a sword, even if I wanted to. The best thing I can do is continue to train in my healing abilities, as well as my air manipulation skills." As the audience continued to watch the two teens spar, the princess and hunter ended in a stalemate as their swords bashed against one another yet again, with neither of them backing down. "Come on, think smarter, not harder," Gryphon ordered as she continued to watch the sparring match. "Use your strength as well as your skills to defeat him." "Right," Soraya answered as she tried to find a way to break the stalemate. When she noticed how Nasir was about to move his right leg towards direction, Soraya acted quickly. She jumped when he was right about to trip her, like Gryphon did, and delivered a punch to his face, causing him to break his concentration and fall backwards. She then aimed her sword at his face as he laid on his back, though she made sure not to point it too close as to avoid accidentally poking his eye out, even if the sword wasn't too sharp. "Good one," Nasir complimented with a grin. "Guess I should have seen that coming. How did you know that I was going to pull that move against you?" Gryphon already did the same thing," Soraya explained as she extended a hand to pull him back up. Contrary to popular belief, I am a fast learner after all. I guess you are, Nasir agreed as he got back on his feet, only to accidentally step on a pebble and trip over it, causing him to fall on Soraya, much to her shock. Of course, he didn't mean to fall on top of her, especially in a rather compromising position, but that didn't stop the others from noticing it. Oh my! Yasica exclaimed with a blush. I'm so sorry. Nasir apologized with a growing blush on his cheeks, not helped by how close he was to Soraya at the moment. No, it's fine, Soraya assured him as she tried to get up. What are you two doing? Tahir asked, causing the teens to turn in his direction in a panic. He held a dead gazelle in his mouth, only to drop it in shock at the sight of his sister seemingly being pinned to the ground by the young hunter. Nasir quickly got off Soraya, with the princess getting on her feet and dusting herself as to look more presentable. Nothing. We were just practicing on how to fight with swords. That's all, I swear, Soraya insisted, looking away from Nasir. Yeah, that's right. We were just sparring. I swear, Nasir insisted as well. Really? For a moment, I thought you were wrestling, Gazdaham joked, causing Tahir to give him a very unamused glance before turning back to the two teenagers. I hope that's what it was, for your sake, Tahir said in a stern tone. Also, we managed to catch something for tonight's dinner. As he said this, some of the hunters brought the animals they had hunted, while others brought baskets of various fruits or vegetables they had foraged from the wild areas. Again, thank you for catching those gazelles for us, Gazdaham thanked with sincerity. Your speed has come in handy along with those claws of yours. You are welcome, Chief Gazdaham, Tahir replied with a nod. Are there any injuries I should check on? Yasica asked as she made her way to the group, to which Tahir, Gazdaham, and the hunters shook their heads and hands. No need, Yasica, Tahir assured his friend. Everyone is fine. The chief plans on bringing some of the game animals to one of the nearby kingdoms for sale tomorrow. Yes, I believe it's time we earned some money yet again, while also scouting for any signs of Dahak's men, Gazdaham confirmed with a nod. At the same time, we also plan on spreading word of our rebellion in order to recruit more allies for our cause. As long as we remain alive, the rebellion will never die. The others cheered at that, with some nodding in agreement. Even Soraya and Nasir also cheered a bit alongside the other Frumi Tribe members, with Tahir, Yasica, and Gordafari nodding in silence. Either way, the morale boost was very much needed for everyone. But for now, let us prepare for today's meal so we may all have full bellies for the rest of the day, Gazdaham said, before helping his men and women carry the food to the kitchen area for the cooks to work on. Tahir accompanied them, but not before giving a suspicious look towards Nasir, who gulped in response. Once the group had left and the other Frumi Tribe members, as well as Yasica, went to get ready for the meal, Soraya heard Gordafari approach her with a grin. Well, that was certainly unexpected, Gordafari said. Even so, great job on beating Nasir. Even I didn't expect you to actually punch him, along with dodging his attempts at tripping you. I did learn from the best warrior, after all, Soraya replied, with a grin of her own. But in all seriousness, was it right for me to take Nasir by surprise with a punch? Well, I understand that it was necessary, but at the same time, it feels a bit dishonorable. I don't think my parents or even the royal guard would have approved of it had they seen it for themselves. Gordafari smiled at Soraya before placing a hand on her shoulder. Don't fret over it, Soraya, the warrior woman assured the princess. Word of advice, anything goes when it comes to battle or combat. You can't always predict what the enemy will do to get one over you. When it comes to battling against forces like Dahak's cronies or even his thieves, you have to be pragmatic and hit them in their most sensitive areas in order to beat them. Hit them in the eye, stab in the neck, or heck, kick them in the groin if you have to. That I could probably do, Soraya commented, causing both of them to laugh. She's right, you know, Nasir chimed in. The point is that when you're facing enemies like Dahak's forces, they'll use anything to get the drop on you. Even in the past, they had no problem holding innocents hostage and using them as leverage just to secure their own victories and take over parts of Avesta. Hence why you have to be strong, but also clever when it comes to taking them down. Trust me, it'll help you in the long run. Wow, I never knew that until now, Soraya said in amazement. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Now, come on, we should get ready for dinner, Gordafari ushered, prompting the princess and young hunter to follow after her. Once dinner was set up, the Frumi tribe as well as their guests began eating together after the grand meal was cooked with extra love and effort by some of the more culinary-inspired tribe members. It also helped that Yasica put her knowledge of herbs and medicine into the cooking as well, which actually helped boost the health benefits of the meals for the tribe, which the chief was very grateful for. Of course, she also did it for Tahir, who she wished to impress with her cooking skills, which seemed to work if his content expressions were of any indication. While this made her the subject of teasing from Soraya, who was the only person that knew of her crush, Seeing Tahir enjoy her cooking made her happy nonetheless. As for what Soraya was doing, she was explaining more details regarding the prophecy to Gazdaham and the rest of the Frumi tribe. As a result, your clan represents the hunter aspect of the prophecy, as the guru stated, Soraya commented. Thanks to Nasir leading us to you, we were able to fulfill one part of the prophecy. All we need to do now is to find the warrior who was born from the Frumi tribe and other allies who can help us. But where do we start? That is a good question, Gryphon said. To be honest, we have been trying to recruit people for years, ever since the failed first rebellion, but with you and your brother, as well as Yasica on our side, we may be able to bring more hope to people of Avesta and bring Dahak down through forming alliances. As for the warrior born from the Frumi tribe, that might be difficult, Nasir revealed in an uneasy tone. Really? Why? Soraya asked with concern. The Frumi tribe once existed alongside us, Gazdaham explained, emphasis on once. However, they ended up being the first to get wiped out by Dahak's forces, as he sent his D's and personal army to destroy them years ago. Then again, rumors state that there were some survivors who hid within the forests or mountains of Avesta, or got captured by Dahak to be made to his slaves. That's terrible, Tahir said in both horror and disgust. Yes, it is, Gazdaham agreed in a somber tone. Perhaps we can send a squad to explore the wildlands tomorrow, while another squad will accompany me to the city to sell goods. We shall leave in the morning after eating breakfast. If anyone is willing to accompany me to the city tomorrow, let me know in advance before we leave. I have a suggestion, Yasica said as she meekly raised her hand. Why don't we go see the great Simurg? She's said to hold knowledge regarding almost everything in Avesta, along with Humbawa. Maybe she can help us? Wait, you mean the Simurg? Soraya asked in shock. One of the few creatures who could talk and lives in the mountain areas? Yes, that Simurg, Yasica confirmed. Well, I myself have not seen her in person. The gurus have, and so have the previous sky monks and nuns. Given how she's very old, but also very powerful, perhaps she may be able to tell us what our next move should be, and where to find this mysterious warrior. Do you know where she lives? Tahir asked. Yes, she lives in the Albors Mountains, which is near the Maza Sea, Yasica revealed. It has been a while since she has been visited by any of the Sky Monk Sanctuary members. Chances are she'll be less hostile if I bring you there. All right, Tahir nodded. Tomorrow we can go visit her and see if she knows about the mysterious Frumi warrior with the strength of 100 men. Is that all right with you, Chief Gazdaham? Yes, that is fine by me, Gazdaham assured the prince. But of course, I will send Gryphon and Nasir with you, just in case. You will need all the help we can get. Yes, Padar, Gryphon nodded. Yes, sir, Nasir said with a nod of his own. Good. Yasica will take the Sky Princess and her brother along with my daughter Nasir to meet up with Simurg, while I bring some of my tribe members to the city of Istakri to see if we can get some new allies. If you do find who you're looking for, I want you to meet up with us outside of the city just in case. Understood? Yes, Chief, the group agreed. After that, they all continued to eat dinner, though Yasica had a somewhat concerned expression on her face, but hid it from the others before anyone noticed. What she didn't realize was that Tahir himself noticed her concerns, but chose not to say anything until later. Of course, after dinner was over and most of the tribe and their guests headed off to bed, with a few guards standing near the exits in case and waiting for their shifts to end, Yasica had other plans. As Soraya and Tahir slept in their room, the Sky Nun secretly snuck out and entered one of the empty areas of the camp, though she came across one of the tribe members who were standing guard, who questioned her on why she was still up. She was able to explain her reasons to them, which convinced them to leave her be. As for what she was doing, she was continuing her training when it came to her Sky Nun abilities. Like the rest of her kin, she was trained in combat as well as defense, but mostly preferred the latter due to her very meek and inexperienced personality. Even so, she was determined to prove her worth and not be a burden to the others despite her limited skills. She took a deep breath before getting into a fighting stance. Using her legs, she delivered strong kicks to the air and spun herself around to create a slightly dusty tornado for defense. After that, she jumped in the air and delivered an air punch that actually sent a strong gust of wind. Of course, she made sure not to accidentally destroy anything, hence why she was in a more open area within the camp. Finally, after some fighting stances, Yasica jumped in the air and summoned a large cloud that lifted her off her feet and helped her float in the air for a few minutes to her amazement and relief. She smiled in satisfaction after seeing her abilities getting stronger after all. However, she didn't realize she had an audience watching her until he spoke out. Yasica? Tahir asked, causing Yasica to squeak in surprise and caused the cloud she summoned to disappear and make her land on her bottom. "Oh shoot, are you okay?" As he said this, he helped her back up, to which she was grateful for. Yes, I'm fine, thank you," Yasica replied as she got back on her feet. "What are you doing out here? It's really late. Shouldn't you be asleep?" Tahir asked with concern. "Yes, I should, but I had trouble sleeping," Yasica admitted with a sigh. "I couldn't help but think about how we're going on our next big trek tomorrow, and I want to be prepared by training myself." "Still, you should get some sleep before you suffer from fatigue or something," Tahir warned. "But I will say you have definitely improved a lot compared to before. It also helps that you don't have a broken arm anymore." "Really?" Yasica asked with hope in her tone and a slight blush on her face that she hoped Tahir wouldn't notice. "Thank you. I had been taking some of Gordafari's lessons to her while also watching her spar Soraya. I know I'll never be able to wield a sword or shoot an arrow, but I do want to contribute to the impending battles we'll be facing in my own way. I can't always be the healer of the group, especially if I myself am targeted by the enemy." "It is very noble of you," Tahir commented, "but you shouldn't push yourself too hard just to help us. Even Soraya makes sure to take breaks and not overexert herself." "You're right, sorry," Yasica apologized. "It's just that ever since my arm got broken, I felt so useless and couldn't even use my powers properly. I had to wait an entire month for it to properly heal and move around again so I could use my powers. To be fair, it wasn't your fault, as that was Nasir's," Tahir assured her while frowning the moment he mentioned the hunter's name. "Besides, you're still learning, so it's not your fault if things go wrong or you haven't been able to hone your Skynon training. Even if we're at war with Dahak at the moment, it's never too late to rest after training. Don't feel like you have to improve yourself overnight, as it takes plenty of time to get stronger, even in the face of combat. If you're worried about the possibility of being unable to help out, don't. You have your own role to play with the group and have been a tremendous help to both me and my sister. That's good enough for me." Hearing this touched Yasica and made her happy, especially since she was hearing this praise from Tahir. "Thank you, Tahir," Yasica said in a grateful tone. "You're right, I shouldn't push myself too hard in order to become stronger. I'll take your advice into consideration. Perhaps I should go back to bed now." "Yes, you should," Tahir agreed. "Come on, we've got a long day ahead of us tomorrow." The two of them walked back to their rooms in order to rest, since they would definitely need it for tomorrow. All the while, Yasica continued to blush due to being in close proximity with Tahir, despite her remaining oblivious to her feelings. The next morning, Soraya, Tahir, and Yasica got ready for their journey to find Simurg, before meeting up with Gordafari, Nasir, and Anzor. Gazdaham and his group were also present with a cart they had, which was attached to some of the horses they brought for the occasion. Soraya even made sure to pet some of them, with Yasica also joining in, given how the horses were tame enough to let people touch them. "Is everyone ready?" Gazdaham asked everyone present. "Yes, we are," Soraya confirmed with a nod. "We are, Padar," Gordafari said. "Ready when you are." "Good," the chief said before glancing at his daughter with a loving expression and placing a hand on her shoulder. "Be careful, my daughter. I don't want to lose you at the hands of those monsters." "You won't lose me, Padar," Gordafari assured her father. "Don't worry. Once we find who we're looking for, we'll meet up with you outside of Istakri. I promise." "That's my girl," Gazdaham said with pride. "All right then, lead the way out for everyone if you will." "Will do," Gordafari agreed with a nod before heading to the secret exit. Like before, albeit on the other side, she pressed certain areas in the wall before it opened up to reveal the aforementioned exit. When she did, she turned to the others with a confident, hopeful smile. "Well then, let's go everyone. We've got an evil sorcerer to defeat and a world to save." Meanwhile, in what remained of the kingdom of Bahar, Dahak sat in the throne he had taken from the royal family, with said royals being placed nearby in their statue forms as a form of mockery of their once regal selves. His personal army had arrived not too long after he had taken over the kingdom, with many Deves showing up as well. As for said Deves, they were wandering around the kingdom, serving as sentinels, as well as his eyes and ears around Avesta. While he would have been happy to take over Bahar like he did to so many other kingdoms, he was not in the best mood at the moment due to having lost the princess and her brother 6 months ago. The fact that one of his Deves had apparently been killed made it worse. How did he know this, you may ask? It was due to Dahak having a supernatural link to the demonic creatures and could tell if one of them had died or not. While it didn't hurt him physically, it did frustrate him whenever one of them did die, as shown by his increasing anger. Dahak could only curse before slamming his fist onto his throne armor, scaring the slaves that were nearby. "Damn it!" Dahak shouted in anger. First, I lose my chance at finding those royal brats, and now one of my thieves has been killed. Just how hard is it for my own men to find a princess and a talking griffin? What do I even pay them for? Your Majesty, you technically don't pay any of us. One of the slaves who stood near the throne spoke up, prompting the other slaves to look on in fear over his comment. Dahak merely glared at the particularly bold slave before standing up and rapidly approached him. Before anyone could do anything, the sorcerer immediately pulled out his claws and slashed across the poor slave's eyes, causing him to scream in agony before the guards took him away. The rest of the slaves watched in silent terror, as none of them wanted to utter a single word after seeing this brutal display. Dahak only managed to calm down when he felt the two snakes on his shoulder hissing and nuzzling against his face in a surprisingly affectionate manner. You are right, my dear pets, Dahak said to them, petting one of them under the chin using his index fingers. I must stay calm if I wish to prevent the prophecy from coming through. Then I really have no choice. I will have to ask my master for assistance. As he said this, he left the room, but not before glaring at his slaves. Make sure to clean up the blood by the time I return. I want this place spotless, understand? Yes, Your Majesty, the slaves shouted in unison before getting the cleaning supplies in fear. They did not wish to incur Dahak's wrath any further.